Hello, and welcome back, everyone. It's just another day in the life as a military wife, and this week's installment of A Profile on a Veteran is going to highlight my interview with Murl Saylor, who is a Vietnam veteran. I am really grateful that he took the opportunity to sit down with me, him and his wife, and talk about his experience. And let's just jump into it. As always, I am your host, Sam Wolf, and you are listening to Life of a Military Wife. So this is Murl Saylor. I'm going to let him tell a little bit about how he got into the military, what branch he served in. Take it away.
Okay, I was drafted, got my draft letter in 66. So I went in thinking a 2-year run, and that was it. But when I went in, they said, you know what, if you want to extend 1 year, we'll let you do whatever MOS you want to do. And I said, well, what's the alternative? So the alternative was go into the infantry and then go on to Vietnam. And I said, okay, well, I don't know if I like that or not. But anyway, I went ahead and extended and took Nike Hercules missiles. I was in that. I went to AIT in Fort Bliss, Texas. Oh, by the way, I went to basic training at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, which they don't do anymore down there. When I came out of AIT, they shipped me, what did I have, 2 weeks or something? Had about 2 weeks, and then they shipped me to Okinawa. And in Okinawa, I was sent over there for 17 months. Of course, in the meantime, my wife was pregnant when I left.
Oh, God.
So she had a baby, and I met that baby when she was 1 year old. We got to talk to each other one time while I was gone, and that was through ham radio.
Oh, my.
So that wasn't, it's kind of hard to say I love you, honey, over.
Yeah.
But it was. And then from there, I came back and went to Fort Lee, Virginia, and spent how many years now?
6 months first for training.
6 months. They retrained me into another MOS, office machine repair, believe it or not.
So you can fix the printers, right?
Yeah, you fix everything. But anyway, I went into that and was there the 6 months after the class. They kept me there as an instructor. So I stayed there and was instructing for 3 years, 2 years. I don't know, a long time.
It was a while ago.
It was. But I stayed there and loved that place. Loved the job instructing there. And I came out of instruction and that's when they were getting ready to go into the self-taught. Mm-hmm. So they pulled me out to go in and help them build the manuals for them to do that. So I got to do that. That was fun. And then it came down from there. I got a letter that says, you're going to Vietnam. So I loaded up and took over, flew over, landed. I was ready to start ducking and running, but it wasn't that bad. Not when I got there. So I went over there and I was in transportation over there. They had me in so many different things. Over there, whatever they needed you for, that's what you did. And they gave you one choice. That's what you're going to do. So we were over. There's a rough time. A lot of rough things that I normally don't talk about. Went through a lot, went through much more when I got back. And I was over there 1 year and 1 day. And I thought, why a year and a day? Everybody else, 1 year and they're out of there. I'm there 1 year and 1 day. So I said, well, I'm going to go back find that guy that kicked off a day on me, and he's going to pay. But anyway, I got back, and lo and behold, I went back to Fort Lee, right? Went back to Fort Lee and was there not long, 2 years, and I got another draft letter.
Oh, my word.
And they drafted me into drill status as a drill sergeant.
Oh, well, it's better than Vietnam.
It was much better than Vietnam, but yeah, they pulled me into that. Did I want to do that? Absolutely not, because that's the one bad thing. It was in Fort Leonard, Missouri.
Oh, lost in the wood.
Lost in the woods. So I went to that and I said, why do you guys keep doing this? And they said, there's a group of you that are within 5% of those grades. That's who we pull them from. I said, oh, okay, that's nice. So I was there, sore, tired, ruined feet, had blisters all the time. Sharon would have to pull me out of bed in the morning. So if I got stood up, I could get moving. And by the time I got there at 4 o'clock in the morning, I would have them up. So that was not easy. There was some funny times in there.
And you want to share?
Yeah, the gas chamber was the most fun day out of all the weeks they were there, because we'd take them into the gas chamber, and they'd go in and they'd all practice trying to hold their breath. So we'd take them in and set them down and just wait until you seen them all take a big breath, and then we'd make them take their mask off. And they'd come running out, and we would be in the back door where they come out. And when they came out, we'd grab them. Otherwise, they'd run into trees and
Oh, no.
everything else. But they couldn't see. Their saliva's running down their chest, nose, everything. That was kind of the fun part. But I was not disappointed when my time was up 2 years. So it was a two-year run with that. That was what the call was. And from there, you probably won't believe this, but I got another draft letter.
Oh, my word. No offense, that's like amazing luck or the worst luck ever. I don't know.
Yeah, got another draft letter. Said, congratulations, you're going into combat arms armor. So I went from there to Fort Knox, Kentucky, and they put us through school, and we went into a tank outfit, and all of us was put in the same platoon. So we were with obviously people that had been in that field for years and years and years. So they were always trying to kid us or whatever. And so
No one in the Army has a sense of humor. No.
they have a good sense of humor, but they don't care what they say to you.
Oh, no, they don't.
But we went in, and I was there, and that's where I got out at, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was there
2 years.
2 years, and I said, I'm not doing this anymore.
How many total years did
12.
You did 12.
12 years. I just thought, this is enough. And I was still having a lot of problems with Vietnam, because they had no programs at all then.
No.
So we came back, and we came back as, hey, we're glad to be home, but people yelled at you, spit at you, all kinds of stuff, and it's like, well, you can go straight to you know where. But anyway, I got out, and finally I went to work in the civilian world. Ended up in management and stayed in management for 25 years, something like that. And then went along. The best job I ever had was the last job that I had.
Wow.
And that was with a company called, what was it called?
You talking about Atlas?
No, Atlas was the first company I
You
worked
talking
for.
about the Tooele Depot?
No, Sternberg's.
Sternberg's.
Yeah, they owned dealerships, car dealerships, big heavy truck dealerships, and that was a great job. I really enjoyed it. I hated to leave, but her company moved her to Utah. So I told him I thought I'd better tag along.
Yeah, yeah. Sticking with your wife is usually a
So,
good
you
thing.
know, I'm not going to mess with her career. She didn't mess with mine. So I went along from there, and 2010, I finally started getting help.
That's good.
And so it's been it's been an uphill climb, uh, but to me, it still has been worth it because some of the greatest people I know are in the military, and most people don't understand that because they don't understand the military, so they don't know what to do with them. So they push them over to the side. They don't forget them; they just don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So it makes it pretty hard on military men and women and families because they struggle every day. It's not like I'm going to struggle once or twice a month. It's every day there is some struggle within that family
Yeah.
because the husband's gone deployed, the poor wife has to hang back with 3 or 4 kids with her, just her. So I admire them so much, and I think there are no greater people on this earth than the military. So
No, honestly, I've it's been awesome getting to see your example. It's interesting because we've been so blessed to be in the military in a time where people are, for the most part, kind and receptive and appreciative
yeah,
of what the military do. It was absolutely shocking to me when my husband got his first assignment. We found out he was getting 101st, and I told a good friend of mine that I'd known all growing up, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that was my father's unit in Vietnam." And I'm like, "Your father was in Vietnam?" I had never known his father had served. I had no idea he had done anything. I had no one had ever taught. I'd known this family my entire life. And I was like, how did I never know he doesn't talk about it?
right.
The way he was treated when he came home, he was very young when he got drafted. He went straight in. I know very little of anything he did, but the way he was treated, he never spoke of it again. Ever. Not even to people at church, not even to, people his family knew for years. None of us. No one had a clue.
Yeah,
On Veterans Day, there was tons of veterans in the ward and we'd always celebrate them. He never said a thing. And that was when it really hit me how hard it must have been for that generation. And some bounced back and were willing to talk about it, but some had a lot harder time and there weren't as many resources for you. And so
yeah,
my heart goes out to you guys who paved the way, who did the rough stuff. I've I've been so blessed. I have not had to go a whole year with my husband never meeting a baby. I've never had to go a whole year with only being able, or almost a year and a half with only being able to talk once. And so that just blows my mind. The sacrifice and just the commitment, all of it you guys did for our nation and for that often gets forgotten. So thank you. So, in all of this stuff, I have had the opportunity to meet you because of a really awesome thing you're doing now.
mhm.
And can you talk about what you're doing now and how you and your wife came to the decision to do this?
We put in for a mission twice. It took well over a year for me to get through medical stuff to even be considered. So they finally considered, and they said, okay, we're going to let you go. And all the paperwork was in. We were ready to load and go. And we got a call and said, nope, that was when COVID hit. So they stopped us. And I thought, well, that's probably the end of my line, because I'm already up in age. So, but we, because we said, okay, we'll just go back to the temple and work in the temple. We'd been doing it for years anyway. So, and then we were just sitting around one day talking and said, why don't we try one more time? Just one more time. And we put in for office, right? We put in for office because I had no idea that they had the military relations missionaries. Had no idea at all. And me being ex-military, you would think that I might have picked that up somewhere along the way, but I didn't. Anyway, we sent it in, and as soon as they looked at my records, they sent it back and said,
We had our call in 2 weeks.
Oh, I'm sure.
they sent it back and said, you're going to Fort Carson, Colorado. And I said, yes, yes. I was so happy because I thought I get to go back with the young military men and women and children, people that I know and love and respect. So we got that call. I don't think she wanted to do something more. She likes to teach.
Yeah.
So me, I'm not so much. But she likes to teach, so she looked at that and thought, and of course I'm jumping up and down and dancing. And she said, well, if that's where we need to go.
She didn't realize she was going to be the honorary grandma for all the military kids.
That's right. That's right.
You've got like 50 grandkids now.
But this has been such a wonderful call. You're tired all the time. You're sore, but it's worth it. It's worth every bit of it to go through it. Sometimes you're sick. Sometimes you feel better. So right now I'm on my way back. I have to go to the heart doctor because of heart issues. So I don't know what we'll do after that, whatever they have to do. But I have enjoyed it. I recommend it. Anybody that's military, and the reason I say that's military, I don't think it'll work for someone who doesn't know and understand the military.
Yeah.
I think it would just be just such a hard call for them to know that, hey, there's chaos every minute.
Oh, yeah.
There's just chaos every minute. And it's like the young missionaries that we get in, we sit down before we get them in on post and sit down and explain, here's what a military family is like. If they come to their door, open the door and chew you out, don't worry about it. It's not personal. It's just they're in your face. That's what they're used to. They're in your face. And if they say, don't come back, believe it. Don't come back. Next time you might get a nod upside your head. But yeah, it's been wonderful. I mean, I'd love to do it again, but I don't know if I'll physically if I can.
You still have all of us. You guys have got a lot of honorary family, and I know the community's been really grateful. Just for my listeners who are not familiar, our church has the opportunity for people to serve missions, and one of the missions for individuals who have been in the military is they can go and help out military congregations, and that is what has been going on. So you can hear Sister Saylor. So they called elder and sister. Those are their titles. His wife is sitting right here. She's been here for the whole conversation. But um, we're just really grateful. I know that for the kids, especially, they really do look at you guys as their honorary grandparents because their grandparents aren't able to be here.
Right.
And I know that my mom was always so grateful for the military relations missionaries because she knew someone was taking care of me.
That's right.
And I did get to teach.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, we came on this and we taught a very special class of military families called Becoming a Self-Reliant and Resilient Family. And then we got to teach temple prep classes. So this is fulfilled and exceeded our expectations.
And you got to bake cookies for everyone.
I did.
Yeah,
And muffins.
Yeah.
I ate too many cookies.
Yeah, yeah. Well, when they're being baked in your house, that is a
It's horrible. That's what it's horrible.
You got to be the taste tester. You got to make sure they're good for everyone else.
Yes.
Yeah, but when I take a taste, it grows.
Oh, true. You're not as young as you used to be.
No.
Well, I'm so grateful for you being willing to do this conversation and interview. I'm so grateful for your service, not only initially in the military that helped you be able to serve us now in our community, but just for everything you guys have done for us. And I really wanted this opportunity to highlight the awesome opportunities that can come later in life with military experience. There's ways to give back and serve and still be connected.
Yep, don't sit down because you just die.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
No,
We
stay
need you
busy.
around for a
Stay
while.
busy. Help somebody, because most of us at our age, we don't need much of anything.
Do you feel like working with the military families now has helped you come to terms with some of the stuff you experienced before?
It has, because I've been able to talk about it more because I'm with someone that knows, so we can talk back and forth. So, but my family, I didn't say much to them at all. I just didn't figure why would they want to hear that kind of stuff. It just happens. It's part of the life of being military.
Yeah. Yep. There really is a sense of camaraderie and family that develops.
But most of them that came back from Vietnam, probably 80% of them, their families broke up because they couldn't deal with the soldier. Because you're messed up when you come from that. And if you have nobody to help you through it, you can't fix yourself.
No, there weren't the resources that we have now.
Right.
So I seriously props to you, because it was harder to be a military spouse then than it is now. Our husbands have a lot more resources, and I feel like we are better educated as spouses on what they're dealing with.
Right.
So,
Well, she did, because I know she went through pure hell dealing with me. But when I finally got in there in 2010, they also had a group for the wives too.
oh, good.
And they understood a lot more after that of why we're so crazy, why we all of a sudden fly off the handle or whatever. But she hung in there. I would have said, hit the road, Jack.
Well, you got a good one.
I've got a good one. It's been with me for a lot of years.
Well, again, thank you for doing this.
You're welcome.
As I said before, I'm really grateful for Murl Saylor being willing to do this interview. I know that it's not always easy with Vietnam vets for them to talk about their experience. And I know there's probably parts where you guys wish that I had asked him or pushed a little bit more to get more details, but I just didn't feel like I should put anyone out of their comfort zone. That's one of my policies is there are definitely things as military families we may not feel comfortable talking about, or we may not be able to talk about. And I do my best to try to respect those boundaries of anyone I interview. But I am really grateful for what he did feel comfortable saying and sharing and talking about the mental health and emotional struggles that veterans have had and do have. And I'm so grateful that resources have improved over the years so that there is an ability to get help and contextualize the experiences that they go through. So, that said, if you are curious about what military relations missionaries are, outside of what we already discussed in this episode, I will have a link in the description of this episode so that you can look at those resources that our church has put together to help military members. I'm really grateful for the military outreach that our church does for military congregations and service members and their families. It has blessed my life and the life of my family, and I have seen it bless the lives of many others. I hope someday my husband and I can pay it forward and do one ourselves. So that will be quite a bit in the future. That puts an end on this installment of A Profile on a Veteran. I am your host, Sam Wolf, and you're listening to Life of a Military Wife.